tons of intellectual properties. Do you know what they are? How can you protect them? How can you profit? How can you tell people to go away and not use maybe something that you have trademarked or something that is peculiar to you? Those are the things we'll be talking and discussing for the next 45 minutes here on Office Journal. I should tell you the songs you listen to. I know somebody is on the outlook for that. So you listen to Stay Home Tonight by Lala Hathaway. And around 10:49, I played you Unappreciated. That's all from Cherish. Now let's get right to the business. First off, if you want to be a part of the show, you can tweet at us on Twitter. It is at Smooth92FM. That's the Twitter handle at Smooth92FM. And then use the hashtag Office Journal 981. And then you can send your WhatsApp messages into 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 4440981. That is the WhatsApp platform. And you can also call 014489981 to ask your questions or whatever it is you'd like to say and get off your mind as regards to the topic of discussion this morning. And the last part is YouTube. We're streaming live currently. So you go to youtube.com/smooth 91 FM Lagos. Again, Smooth 91 FM Lagos. By now, you should be subscribed to that channel if you're a fan of the family or you're even a part of the family. Okay, now that we've gotten all those out of the way, let's get to the business. Again, for the umpteenth time, I have told you that we are talking about how to protect your intellectual property. And to discuss this topic this morning, I have someone in the studio with me who I have known for a long time, but we just felt this is the right time to talk about this. And she is the legal and HR manager or officer at Anthill Studios. Her name is Rita Anwara. Good morning, Rita.
Hi, Sharon. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great.
Yeah, very great.
Yeah.
Irrespective of all the fuel queues and.
Oh my God, I had to run out of my house like 5 a.m. this morning just to beat traffic that would anticipated traffic because there was no traffic when I was coming, but I had to run out of my house by 5 a.m.
It's crazy the things Lagos makes you do. But that's not the topic this morning. We're talking about intellectual property. Yes. So first off, it will make sense that we define what it is and you help us to see or know what intellectual property is. Maybe the types of intellectual property, the kinds, the things we have, the gold mine we have in our possession that we are not even sure of. So what exactly is intellectual property?
I usually just term it this way. If you can conceive it in your mind, then you can protect it, right? Intellectual property is whatever comes to your mind, the idea that comes to your mind, that's idea that you think can solve one problem, or that comes up as a service that you can provide, or that can be translated into a product, right? That are not necessarily tangible. You can't hold them, right? You can see them, you can see the effect of them, you can leverage on them, but you just can't hold them. They're not things that you would ordinarily like actual products that you can just say, oh, take this and give me money for that. It's not something so tangible. So that's what intellectual property is. It's really intellectual, the property in your intellect. Really, that's what it is.
That's a nice way to put it. And you know why I came up with this topic? It is as a result of seeing some things happening in Nigeria. And I am not quite sure of our disposition, our perception, our attitude towards it. You have people who have ideas. First off, you know how we usually say, okay, no idea is exclusive to anyone, which is actually the truth. Yes. But somebody has an idea and then you conceived it. In fact, before I even go to that, there were times if you're very active on social media space, Twitter, for instance, you will see somebody calling another person out, especially a music director. It will say, that was my idea, or that was my video idea for this concept, or something like that. And they will call the other person out. But where is the receipt? Where is the evidence that it was really your idea? Because again, no idea is exclusive to someone. Yeah. So I'm thinking those are part of your intellectual property.
Yes.
But how do you make it in such a way that, now this is my idea, even if you have the same idea, you do not get to go ahead with this idea and make money before I make money with it? Yeah.
So you can only protect it if you make it tangible. or you put it in a format, in a tangible format. So you have where, like you said, people would come up, oh, that's my idea. Did you is there a paper somewhere where you wrote it, where you came up with this idea? Everybody has ideas. Everybody has ideas. Now, you took the extra step to put it down. Now that right there is that's your claim. That's your right to claim anything, that this is my idea. I gave it to you. But if you just go, oh, we just had a conversation about it. Now, was there any documentation around? Was there any form of, like you call it, receipt that says this is what makes it my idea? So for it to be protected, it has to be, work has to have been gone. You have to see that you actually put in work. You came up with it. You took time and effort to put it into a format that makes it your idea. So you have those kind of things that happen beyond even the music. Advertising agencies, we give you an idea, concept. The concept is not just me talking. We took time. We drafted, we did put graphics together, we put pictures, we did a storyboard so you could see how this would go from here to here to here. And I give it to you and you say, oh, I don't want it. Now, before you said I don't want it, did I sign anything with you to say you cannot use it unless there has to be something documented that if you don't accept this idea, take it from me, you cannot go later to say, oh, I now like the idea, I want to take it, I want to now use it.
What you say that reminds me of something again that I saw on Twitter. It looks like I get a lot of things from Twitter, and the person I do not know if this is true or not, but he said he went for an interview, and in the course of the interview was not the conventional interview. They were having a conversation with him. Yes. And one thing led to the other. He dropped some ideas that he was excited. When you are being interviewed, you would do anything to impress them. You will share about your life, especially when it's not the typical answer and question interview. So he shared something, and later on, he saw that the company had built something out of that. Now he's calling them out, but like you mentioned, there was no documentation. There was nothing that showed this is exclusive or this was my idea. And
you see, that's the thing with creative people. They get too excited. And they're always emotionally motivated. They're so excited to create that they forget that this thing that you're about to say, that's your gold mine. So a lot of the times, because I've worked I've had experience of both creative and corporate, I tend to, you have to calm down. Don't be too excited. We know you want to do this thing, but don't be too excited. If you don't know you have the intellectual property, you won't know when you spill it.
Whoa. Just hold on before you spill further. I am liking the turn of this. Just hold on. If there is anything you have not gotten so far, let me tell you one of the punchline. Creatives tend to get really excited, and they are like a gold mine of so many ideas that they could make money off. So if you're a creative, this is a part where you learn to, put a tap or a cap now when you're spilling so much and you're so excited. Oh, there was this idea that came to me. Learn to just hold on a bit, because that is money and somebody could get it for free. So we'll take our first break. When we come back, we will be delving more into how much of intellectual property you have and how much money you should be making with it. My guest this morning is Rita Anwara, and she is a legal and also the HR for Anthill Studios. You're listening to Smooth 98.1.
Hey, what's up?
I don't know how to pronounce your surname.
Anwara.
Stay tuned.
Anwara.
Right here on Smooth 98.1.
Legal and HR.
I sent you manager, legal and human resources, or legal and human resources manager.
Sorry, don't vex. This is it. I did not see it. This is manager, legal and HR. Anthill Studios, right?
Yes. Anthill Studios. I put it like this. I purposely did it like that. Manager, dash, legal and human resources. Down. Anthill
Above 1,999 naira.
Manager, legal and HR.
Just say legal and human resource manager for Anthill Studios. Will make your life easier.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because the actual title is head.
Where's your sister?
Comfort.
She's in the bedroom. Oh, yeah, call her for me.
Because it was just at that moment I realized, oh crap, I actually didn't get everything together. The manager.
Joe, he's
No, don't worry.
children.
Legal and human resource manager.
Legal and
Jogo, you there
human.
outside? Abeg, help us bring one children come.
Resource
Risi, sorry, please check if it's your daddy that's at
manager,
the door.
Anthill Studio.
Ah,
For
you
Anthill,
that
like
your line
Anthill
had been
Studios.
blocked. How did you get the credit that you're using, K?
I linked my NIN to my MTN
Don't worry,
line
no,
and got
um,
20k
what-
free
Are you going to
airtime.
have any music now?
No,
Yes, so
it's
connect
TikTok.
your NIN to your MTN line today and
like
get
maybe-
20,000
I
naira
hope
bonus
I've not-
airtime.
okay,
Visit
well,
any
never.
MTN center near
What's
you
that?
to begin.
Mommy,
Literally
where are you
dragging my
going?
week.
MTN Experience Center,
Alright.
of course.
You're good
You
now,
think
yeah?
it's only you that
I
like
think
good
once
thing,
I
eh?
get on,
Yeah, yeah,
Terms
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
conditions apply.
Smooth 98.1. It just
Really
feels
cold water.
good.
Hop on the Feel Good train here on Office Journal on Smooth 98.1. We are talking about intellectual property and how you can protect it, how much of it you have, and you need to be really careful with how much you spill your ideas. You're so excited, you have a get together, you are in an office, you have just met some people, or maybe you're even networking and you say, oh, this is it. I have this idea, that. Before you know it, you see another person implement exactly what you had in your mind, and now you get so angry that they stole your ideas. But did they really steal it? Did you document it? Those are the issues we are dealing with this morning on Office Journal. My guest is Rita Anwara, and she is the Legal and Human Resource Manager and Heal Studios. I murdered it earlier. She has forgiven me. Thank you so much for your forgiveness.
You're welcome.
All right, now do not forget that you can send your messages on WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. You can also tweet at us at Smooth91FM. So back to it. I was liking how you were describing creatives and how sometimes they just get so excited and way ahead of themselves. But creatives they thrive in such environment.
Yes.
That's who they are.
Yes.
They have about 1,001 ideas at a
Yes.
time,
Yes.
and it's as if now I can say this because I have been there. It's as if when you do not express it, you know how you pour freshly brewed, or no, not even brewed, fresh palm wine.
Really?
I'm sorry, it's 11:14. You shouldn't be
How about
drinking.
just brew tea?
No, the bubbles that need to escape. So
So
know,
you
the
feel like
fresh
if you
palm
put it
wine.
in, if you bottle it up, you're going to, it has to come.
Yeah.
And somebody has to know that I've thought about this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. So you see, the thing is, we're in a world where I'm so happy now that intellectual property is beginning to gain ground. There was a time, I remember, like the earlier part of my career, even university, when I fell in love with intellectual property, it was amazing to me. And how you could just, spill ideas. I can do this for you, I can do that for you. And because I'm a creative myself, I understand. I had to go through the corporate world, and I was saying, oh, you can't just be spilling things. There are documents you must put together. So even as a creative, even if you're so excited, what I would advise usually is, you want to network, it's fine. Network, collect all the cards, make an impression. An impression is all you need to make. Then when it's time to just when you have that conversation, you don't just go ahead and have it. Send an email. Just an email is all you need to say, oh, I'm about to share some documents with you, please, they are confidential. You do not, you see the fact that you just said that and they cannot share it. If you're not willing to, you don't need to send a grand NDA. If you can send it, and the NDA is like a non-disclosure agreement, and a non-compete, you can send a non-compete as well if it's something, but that's usually for employees. But if you don't have a lawyer who can just quickly help you draft something really easy, just send it in an email. It's documented, and have the person respond to it.
Okay.
So what has happened is, I've told you can share this, and it's my idea, right? If you choose not to go with it, that's fine, but it's my idea. I've established it already. Then the person, acknowledge, kindly share document. That's all you need.
Okay. Thank you. Now, before we even go back to the different ways you can protect, because you already mentioned one of it, which is non-disclosure.
That's a document, non-disclosure.
Okay, so I'm guessing that's one of the ways you can protect formally.
Yeah.
Before we go to that, maybe trademarking, copyright, and all of that, let's talk about the disposition of the law in Nigeria, because in a case where you put it there, the receipt is there. Yes, the person went ahead and say, well, you can go to the H word now, and I will still take your ideas because I have more powers, I have more access, I have the tools to immediately implement
Implement, right,
this,
yes,
and
yes.
you do not have the money. You are just the creative with the idea, but you do not have the money to quickly get this done. So I have all that. I have the power, whatever it is, and the person goes ahead to take all your ideas that you have told them you cannot share this. How do you get it back here in Nigeria? Because Nigeria is different from other clients. Maybe in some other
Oh,
places.
come on, give us some credit.
Oh yeah. So you remember how everybody went crazy over Burna Boy and Tony Braxton? Yeah, Tony
Yes,
Braxton.
Tony
Yeah,
Braxton, yes.
and how they were like, no, why would you give 60? Is it 60% or 40%? It's too much. Here in Nigeria, he would get away with it
He might have, yes.
because
No,
the general perception, that's where I want you to clear it up. The general
Okay.
perception is that, well, there are other person issues. We have cases of rape, we have cases of
so why
manslaughter and all
why
of
should
that.
we pay attention to this?
Intellectual property, yeah, exactly.
You know, it's actually provided for in the Constitution.
It is.
Yes, it is. You go to the Constitution provides for it, and it's at. Let me see if I can basically bring it up. But the Constitution provides for it. You just file at the Federal High Court. I've had to sit through intellectual property matters, seen them from beginning to end. I've seen them, so there's even one that came out, the judgment came out in 2020, it was filed in 2018. Yes, but it was 2020. It was a really big one where the court awarded the 700 and something million naira damages for intellectual property theft.
Whoa.
Yes, so I have my opinions on that matter though, but I'm not going to go into it. But like I said, I'm loving the climbs. I'm loving the fact that people are waking up to it. So it's becoming something that even the courts, even the judges are like, we need to understand what this is, because remember I said it's not tangible. You can't see it, right? So it's almost, if it's this is mine, I have the receipt, I wrote my name on it. You can pick up a keyboard and say I gave it to you, but you can't pick up an idea. You can't just pick up something, right? It's intellectual property is really more about the intellect. You have it in, like, say, music. How do you know who has the music now? When you talk about you have different type of rights covered under music. You have the composer's right, and you have the recording right.
Yeah.
Then you see the record. You've seen where even artists have had to drop their names because the record label owns the name. Those kind of things. Those are things that, remember, excitement with creatives. They just, let's do this, and they just, we have walked away with it. So the law right now, I'm happy we have laws that have been long ago put in place, even though I am of the opinion that they need to, revamp. They have to revamp. But you have the Copyright Act, you have the Patent and Design Act, and you have the Trademark Act. So the copyright is for literary works, your music, your art, your cinematography, your books, poems, and all that. Then you have if copyright also covers for codes, your tech boards, yeah, that's where it's literal work. See, so they don't even know they're supposed to do that, but it's literal work. Your patents, for inventions, your design for industrial design, then your trademark for your trademark. So yeah, those are the laws, and they may not be as robust, but they do well, right? They try. They are quite. They cover a lot. So it goes down to your interpretation and how much effort you, as a creative, on your end, have put in to protect your rights. Then you give more power to these laws to act on your behalf.
Oh, so there is the part where you are aware of the laws, and there is the part where you need to actually use the laws.
Yes.
It strengthens the laws, and nice.
So if you do the things the law says you should do, or you go the extra mile to protect it, it makes it easier for these laws to be applicable. Or if you say, oh, they are my ideas, there's no receipt. Because or you say, oh, I was one that invented this mouse the way it is, and you don't have like sketches, drawings, something that shows that it is new, it's innovative, you are the one, how do we protect it? How does the patent law help you out there? There are criterias, you understand, for your work or your intellectual property to be protected under this law. There are criteria that must be met. So as long as you're able to meet these criteria, and I dare say if you can go further, then you're home and dry.
I feel like you're speaking to one of the problems we have here in Nigeria. It is documentation.
Yes.
We do not properly document a lot of things.
for the length of my career, if there's one thing I know about creatives, and in fact, not just creative, Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians are going to business, they don't document stuff. They say, "It's my friend. I know we shook hands, we shook hands, we are men of honor." That's what you're hearing. But that's not how it works. Because a person, if you know that this thing you're giving is worth something, you want to go to a very long length to protect it, right? So documentation is the beginning, the very beginning of you protecting your right. You must document everything. You must document even your process, so that if anybody comes to say, "Oh no, it's a lie, I did it," I have receipts. So I was in my house. I can bring out my jotter. This jotter is enough to show that on this date I did this, on this date I did that. That's usually how it works. If you notice, most researchers outside the country, you watch normal Nollywood movies, or when they're doing research, when they carry out research, they say, "Oh, on so dates, so whatever." That is documentation. They are recording their process. You cannot say they are not the ones that did this. When that research or the result of the research and development comes out, they did it. You give them their credit.
Wow, thank you very much. That is very expository. On YouTube, you can actually join us on YouTube right now. It is youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. So you go search for Smooth 981 FM. That is the channel on YouTube, and you should subscribe so that you get a notification whenever we go live. So Precious Michael says, "Wow, if you do not know you have intellectual property, you don't know when you spill it." True. Did I document my idea? Well, did you? Now is the time for you to know and to properly document and be more conscious that you're not broke. You're just mismanaging your resources. So
yes, that's true. That's deep. That's true.
Oh gosh.
You should. My God.
Oh, that is so deep.
You're mismanaging. At this point, a lot of us are not broke. I just figured.
Yeah, we're just mismanaging and underutilizing our resources. It's like there is a deposit and you do not even know how much you have.
No, you don't.
But because you've been spilling, you are not
telling
careful.
everybody, and then you just see it somewhere like, and I had that idea.
Yeah.
It could have been that you were having a conversation with somebody and another person overheard. And then you probably are chasing this person who is just on their own, and the person who actually overheard your conversation is doing big things.
Yeah. And that's why you need to pay more attention, so that when you see the person who's going to be a possible or a potential partner that will help you finance the idea, you can know how to go about it.
Yes.
So if you are not aware of what you carry, you might not know when you have somebody who's going to help you with that idea.
I think it's also very important that, it's when you have this idea, remember, like I said, the law has a way of trying to help you with some of these things. Now, even if for copyright, once you have the idea and you're able to show that it is yours, you're automatically covered by the Copyright Act, right? As long as you show, like if I have a poem in my head and I put it a certain way, immediately I put it a certain way and I have it shows that, like, I show that I wrote this on so day, so whatever, I documented it. If somebody else publishes somewhere and I say, no, I've done this before, look at it. Even if I didn't register with the Nigerian Copyright Commission, which, by the way, that's the body that is in charge of copywriting in Nigeria. That's the Nigerian Copyright Commission. Even if I didn't register this work with them, I'm automatically covered, right? But it will be good to go the extra mile to cover, to just apply for it. They have accredited lawyers.
Okay.
I happen to be one of them. So
I will interrupt there. I will take a break because you already answered part of my question. So when we come back, you will clear it up very well.
Great.
And repeat about where you are an accredited lawyer who can help register all of these. So if you're joining us for the first time, you're listening to Office Journal. We are talking about intellectual property. And I just unintentionally dropped a deep quote that you are not broke, you're just underutilizing your resources. So look within you, ideas and money. Yeah, people, money, relationship, money. So you just know how to utilize it and you will have the cash. That's all you need. So you can be a part of this on Twitter, on WhatsApp, and call, and also on YouTube. We'll be back.
98.1.
The WhatsApp is not syncing.
Listen to this to
What's the problem
understand
with
the
this?
amazing
What's
power
the
of 5G.
What's the name of what?
Oops.
Somebody's
Sorry,
asking me, is it
I
radio?
played
Is
that
it
at
on
5G
is it on
speed.
air?
Now,
Like,
here
is
it
it on
is at the
YouTube?
speed
Is
you're
it on
used
internet
to.
radio? Sure.
Yes, of
I'm
course.
trying
That's
to
search
I'm
for.
trying
to
to
zero lag and
get the
buffering.
link
Multiple
sent to
No,
me
connections
just
and quality data
search
sharing.
for
5G will give
on
us
YouTube,
amazing
Yeah.
on
things
Google,
like remote
on
surgeries,
YouTube.
self-driving vehicles, instant file downloads, smart
on
home.
YouTube
Get
on
ready to experience
our
the
website is okay.
incredible.
So I'll say that when you
And
come. Our
remember,
website is
now get to do
www.smooth90ton.fm,
5G.
so they can go there to listen live.
.fm. So let me just send the
Yeah.
website. Okay.
For my family, so I always give them quicker instant oatmeal. No stories.
So I realize I'm just going all around my page.
All around how?
I can choose my
I'm
flavor.
just taking some
Or vanilla.
I'm trying to give plenty information.
Whatever that is, it's working. So I don't know.
Quaker instant
Going back in.
oatmeal. Goodness that lasts.
Feel good music. On Strictly Soul.
It's not just about the feel good music, we also got the intelligent talk and great information. And that is one of the conversations we're having right now on Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1. My name is Oluwaseun, and my guest is Rita Anwara. She is the legal and human resource manager Anthill Studios. We are talking about intellectual property, and I tell you, we've actually encountered gems and gold mines in terms of the information. I'll go to WhatsApp quickly, where Cruz says, So he started the question by saying that can you, as the employee, file for protection of your intellectual property from your employer? That you need to protect your IP, that's intellectual property now, from your employer. That is, then he further goes ahead to say, yes, staff once in a while bring something ingenious to the workplace, and employers just accept it and run with it for years without appreciating the staff financially or with better promotion. Oh, sorry. He said, I'm sorry, Cruz. I read it out. I'm sorry. Then he goes to another one. He says, what if I taught our office assistant a smarter way to get filing done? Or if I taught my boss how to present ideas using Sketch before doing major work in order to present a concept to a potential client. Note, I'm not admin manager or HOD, so it wasn't my job. I want to say I come in peace, but few queues got me seen in red filters. I'm on the queue at the moment. I'm not on the queue at the moment, but I hope to be before the end of tomorrow. Well, the summary is that as an employee, is it possible that you need to protect your own intellectual property from your employer?
So usually if you go through your employment contract, right? There's always because I'm in HR as well, so I kind of know. I know this line. When you're on unemployment, see that during your office time, your office hours, that's your employment hours. If you use office facility, if it's in your contract, and most employers always put it in their contract, that intellectual property, if you develop anything within, is theirs. Now, if you use office resources, if you use office connections, if you all that, it is
Go ahead.
it is the company's property,
Okay.
right? Especially when it's put in your contract. Now, however, if you create this outside the office, again, we are back to documentation. We are back to that same documentation, finding ways to document that I did this outside the office. I did this during my spare time. And you look at it and it's not something that, it's going to be like competition, with your company, because you're not allowed to be brewing things that will be in competition to your company, because you're supposed to be on their team, right? So there's that. So I'm sorry to say, but during the terms of your employment, using the office property or resources during office time
is entirely
your company's product. It's an intellectual property. Unless you have, if you had built this thing before you joined the company, it is very good to disclose this. I've built something before now. I can't, details of which I can't share with you, but I want you to know I built this before now, and I'm taking this employment. I'm disclosing it to you. The thing is, we're in a time where it's very easy to come out and say, I've done this and it's mine.
Mm.
The times are different now. It's so easy now when you're not scared of your employer like that, in a way that makes you think that, oh, if I tell my employer this, I'm going to probably be out of no, probably be out of a job. But you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Things are easier now. People are being more receptive to new ideas. So if you tell your employer, "Oh, okay, I want to give you an idea," get them to sign it as well.
Mm.
It's very important. If it's your idea, I built it before now, let them sign something too, right? Let them sign something, and let it again goes back to negotiation. That's why it's good to have a lawyer as a friend. And when I mean a friend, don't just every time bombard them with documents. Sometimes buy them lunch and take them out, but always have a lawyer on your side who helps to advise you and then tells you, okay, this is how to go about it. When you do that, then you can negotiate. When you bring an idea that's going to help the company, negotiate. It's very important. Don't be so excited again, being emotional about it and just excited to go and be the teacher's pet. I'm just saying.
Well, Cruz further says, HR, stop it all. Let your lawyer side talk. I use my brain only and office AC. So ideas that come up during meetings are automatically office property.
Yep.
Anytime I want to think deep, I'll go outside to sit during break.
I guess that would work. That would work.
You can keep the messages coming on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. And you can call 01 448 9981. Again, 01 448 9981. The guest doing so much justice to the topic this morning is Rita Anwara, and she is the legal and human resource manager at Anthill Studios. She has a conflict, she's the HR and also the legal. So she just switched over to the HR side of her, but it's okay. And then there is a legal part, and she's telling you to have a lawyer. I think sometimes for Nigerians, the only time they'll remember a lawyer is when they get into trouble with the police or a uniformed.
They only wait for not only wait for when they get into trouble.
Yeah.
They wait. So that's another problem that we have, where creatives don't remember that they should have lawyers until they are in trouble. I've had a lot of times where you have a lot of developer friends, or your tech bros, send me their contracts. Say, please read this thing before I sign it. Employment contracts, it can be independent contract or really, because when you read the fine prints of the contract, you understand there's some things in it, the interpretation of which you as an educated person would understand.
But, a lay person, you mean to say?
Educated, let's just leave it. You can read English. But as a learned person, some words have
implications.
You understand? So if I say it, what you're seeing, different from what I'm saying. But again, that excitement, I'm just going to go sign it. The money is good. I'm getting paid to do what I love. But somewhere in that point, there's something that says sometimes you say you cannot go and work for somebody else that is a competition till after 5 years.
Once I saw something like that. After 2 years, you cannot.
I've seen 5 years. I've seen 5 years. I've seen 2 years. I've seen 5 years. So it's very important. It's very, very important. And then, there's also one part that beyond the creatives, beyond the creatives, there's a part that it's still argued that it may not be intellectual property, but I am of the opinion that it's an intellectual property. It's trade secrets, right? Trade secrets it could be different elements individually. They're in the public, but I've been able to sit down and found a way to put them together and make it work for me. It's a secret that only me know, that I have put these two and two together and it works for me. It can also be like a confidential information that is commercially valuable. That can be the process of a manufacturing process. We go from this point A, point B, but maybe what's outside is, yes, you should bottle, let's say, yes, you should pour the water into the bottle, cork the bottle, then give it to the other person. It is a process, yes, but we have now found a different route that gives us a better result, which if we were to tell a competitor would become like would give them commercial advantage over us or put us on the same level. So you know what? That's my trade secret. The same way you have like Coca-Cola, we are going to make content. their
pay and send the invoice to you.
do you get like
Yeah.
their recipe? You have their recipe for this and for that. That's a trade. That's a secret. It's confidential information. And again, you don't need to. It doesn't have to. You don't have to go to the copyright commission. That's just an NDA usually, and that's like the easiest way to protect your intellectual property. An NDA. I've had times when would have to send proposals to clients and would give them several ideas. We always put a caveat there that whichever idea you do not take, it is strictly the property of Anthill, so you cannot use it after now. Right? So it's very, very important. That's creatives are just, like I said, too emotional. So always have a lawyer. That's what I'll say. Always have a lawyer friend to ground you.
Okay.
It's very important to just ground you, bring you down from cloud nine. Come, stay with us before you open your mouth. Let's go and let's do the right, needful things. Yeah.
Well, in defense of Nigerians, Cruz says, I think the problem is that most of us know law students and law school attendees, but barely know practicing lawyers in their day-to-day work, such that we consider their work as a way to complement our own everyday work. So it's only when we have contracts to sign or we're in trouble that we remember lawyers, especially those people that claim to be our friends. Well,
so now intellectual property is it's not everybody, it's not a space that everybody is in.
You have to be
It's a niche.
specialized.
You don't have to. They teach a course in university, but do you go further? Like I said, I fell in love with it in university and I went further with it. I chose to read about it. I chose to study more about it, right? But it still boils down to law of contract at the end of the day, right? It still goes to law of contract and some other things. But having just a law school friend, and what if you need licenses to be able to carry out your idea?
That's another talk. Licenses.
What if you need permits to be able to? Do you get like
Yes,
having the idea is just one thing. You may actually require some level of permits to be able to carry out this form of business. So if you go spilling, just talking, and you don't go to a lawyer first before you start telling everybody, the lawyer is able to tell you. You won't get the privilege of the lawyer telling you the implications of the roadblocks you may encounter. Right? If you want to, for example, if you're a tech pro, I just come up with this program, this code that can help me do XYZ, gather data here, gather data there. What if you know that there's a data protection law, right? So what are you going to do with this product in a way that it does not contravene this law? So beyond just having the idea and it's good once you have the idea, before you don't have the money, yes, go and meet a lawyer first. Let them tell you, okay, these are the legal implications, this is what will happen, this is what will happen. And you'll be shocked that it helps you basically clear your mind, channel you know who you're going to. If somebody else comes and said, okay, I can finance your idea, then okay, what's the person's stake? Because nobody's gonna give you money for nothing.
Wow. That is a good food for thought. Thank you very much. We'll take our last break, and when we come back, we'll just get to the part where Cruz, please get it behind me. We'll get to the part where you tell us more about maybe the documentation process. How do I trademark here in Nigeria? If I have a catchphrase, or if I have a name, or I can decide and say, right now my name is Sean. So how do I trademark Sean or something else? How do I? Don't laugh at me. That's just an example.
Sorry. No. I agree with you.
So how do you trademark names? How do you trademark maybe taglines and all of that? And how do you get to profit when somebody infringes on any of your intellectual property right? So that is what we'll be wrapping up with. And of course, your general recommendation and tips. If you're joining us for the first time and you feel like you have missed out on so much, yes, you have. But there is a remedy. You can get the video on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/smooth91FM Lagos.
This is Mr. C.
Why can't I be
Listening
Sean?
to
I can be
Smooth
Sean.
98.1
You cannot be Sean.
for
I can be
music
Sean.
and more.
So yeah, that's what I want you to clarify. So what can be trademarked? Because I remember somebody who attempted, not somebody, there was a group that attempted to trademark Yoruba.
can't. So that's a generic name.
Yes. So
Like,
tell us what
like
cannot be
Ada.
trademarked.
You just want to say I want to trademark Ada. Do you know how many Adas are in the world? It's like saying I want to go and trademark a culture and nobody else should have this culture except me. So some names are not. You can't trademark some names. You can't. There's some restrictions to trademark at the end of the day, and not only trademark. There are restrictions to a lot of in a whole lot of other things. For example, now let's say like now patents. When it comes to patent, I think it's patent. Yeah. Imagine I say, oh, I came up with a new. I just did a crossbreed of this dog and this dog. Therefore, I'm the one that owns this. You can't do that. That's biological. It's not. You can't do that. You can't. When it comes to animals and plants, you can't do that. That's a different thing. So for trademark, it's.
Risi,
so
where's
much.
your sister?
She's in the
There's
bedroom.
so much you can.
Oh, yeah,
This,
call her for
beyond,
me.
so I think people are more concerned with just copyright and trademark.
Mommy's
There's
calling
the
you.
industrial
Risi,
design.
Joe, please buy me chill drink. from
That
Dogo.
one is the one that you see when see Coke bottle.
Jogo,
The style of
we
the
dey
bottle.
outside.
Yeah.
It
Abeg,
is
help us
registered.
bring
You
one
can
chill
you
drink,
cannot
come.
you
Risi,
cannot
sorry,
bring a
please
Coke
check
bottle
if it's
like
your daddy that's
and
at
put
the
water
door.
whatever on it and say I'm not. I know that it
You
looks like
that
Coke
your
bottle,
line
but
had been
I'm
blocked. How
using
did
it for
you
my
get
new
the
brand
credit
for
that you're
water.
using, Ke?
I linked
Wow.
my
It doesn't work
NIN
like
to
that.
my
It's registered.
MTN
Okay,
line.
you
I
need
got
to
You
need
need
to
to
clear
register
all
the
of that
You need to
on.
clear all of that. You cannot just wake up and say I now have
today and get 20,000
I know Coke
naira bonus
is
airtime.
I know Coke is that
Visit any
style,
MTN center
but I'm
near
going to
you
put my own
today.
style and make it look like no, you can't.
Mommy, where are you going?
And then
MTN
just
Experience
because you
Center, of
probably
course.
invented
You
like
think it's only you
a
that like good tea,
sex
eh?
doll or something like that. I'm sorry,
Terms and
it may not
conditions
fly
apply.
in Nigeria because it has to be if it goes against public policy or public order and morality. Then
Okay, you need to say all
The
of that.
Smooth Sessions on your radio
I mean,
brings
like,
you a night.
it's a whole lot.
Smooth R&B
Yeah, it is
and
actually
everything else
way.
in between.
Even
Wait.
music has its own.
It's a
Photography
night
has their
of
own
real people,
way of.
real issues.
It's
real
big.
talk.
There's pharmacy, there's
A night
architecture,
for the
there's
single and
IP in
smooth
architecture,
in the
there's
world
IP in
of
pharmacy,
dating.
there's IP in advertising, there's IP in a lot.
The Smooth Sessions, Mondays to Thursdays from 8 p.m. on Smooth 98.1.
You know the kind of songs you get to listen to on smooth sessions, the one that are soothing and of course put you to sleep and wake you up on a very good note. Right now you're listening to Office Journal here on Smooth 98.1. We have been talking about intellectual property and I have enjoyed every bit of this conversation. My guest is Rita Anwara and she is a legal and human resource manager at Heal Studios. So much to uncover, so much that we have learned, yet so much more that we need to learn. But behind the scenes, we're having a conversation about what can be trademarked and what cannot be. I remember there was a time a certain group, I don't know if it was in Brazil now or in America, they wanted to trademark the name Yoruba. Yeah, they attempted that. And there was this outcry that you cannot trademark people's identity, culture, way of life as a name, a brand name. That makes no sense. So quickly tell us some of those boundaries, restrictions. If somebody wakes up and says, I want to trademark, let me not use the example that comes to my mind, but something that is, common.
Well, it's basic. It's the trademark act basically says, look, some things are generic. You can't just wake up and trademark them. Just like saying like Yoruba, that's a culture. You can't. So what? So if you trademark it and say you own it, the people that have been Yoruba people, what would they say?
You own them.
You own them, or we now are they're lord of our culture.
It's silly.
Or I want to trademark the name Ada. I want to trademark the name Rita. I'm sorry, we are plenty. We're plenty. So generic names, right? And then beyond that, trademark is not just for marks. It's not just for names.
Mm-hmm.
Marks, things that you can use to identify a product. It's very distinct. Like if you see GT Bank logo now, you know.
Brand names.
That's brand name. If it's GT Bank,
you're mentioning brand names.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm so sorry.
I know you're so into it.
If you see like a logo, if you see something from a particular brand, you know that this is for the brand. You don't have to nobody has to tell you, right? So that's how trademark works. It's either the catchphrase or good to go, good to life. If I'm into bottled water, I'm like, drink me, I am life. If that's my catchphrase, that's my catchphrase. Then I have it. Then that's just catchphrase. There's the logo.
Okay.
It's another thing. The logo consists of your color scheme and all. So if somebody else already has something that looks like it, that could pass off for it, it will not be registered. Right? Especially when they're in the same industry or they around the same product line and product services line. If I'm into water and my bottle is green and you go and my bottle is green, black, yellow, and I have an eagle flying somewhere in there and you bring yours, it is green, mustard yellow, and crayfish black, and then you bring your maybe not an eagle, maybe the hawk.
What is crayfish black?
And you bring it, and if you put it together in a way that it actually looks like mine, it won't fly. Especially when it's water. If you're selling crayfish, it's different. That is a crayfish you put there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, those are the restrictions for trademark. You can't just wake up and it's at the discretion of the trademark registrar. If he says, oh, it's because there's that's for the I think they put that the what they call it the body that's in charge of trademarking is the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. So they are the ones that do both patent, sign, and your trademark.
But quickly now, as we wrap this up, the process of registering all this trademarking, please tell me it's not strenuous.
Well, not necessarily, but it's not necessarily strenuous, but it's not a walk in the park either.
Because I imagine these are the road or the blockades or the things that just make people not want to go ahead with registering their intellectual property.
It's not so much of a hassle, really. For copyright, just obtain the letter from whoever has the right. That's if you're giving to your company. So usually, like now, if I'm an employee and 5 of us built an app for the company, when I want to register that the product or the codes with the Copyright Commission, you all have to give me your transfer letters there. You're going to have a letter that transfer. We're giving to the company. It's usually that way. So in case there's anybody that there's a way of checkmating everybody. That's a way of checkmating everybody. You send it to the Copyright Commission through the right agent. Pay the fine. You issue your certificate. Same with the trademark. You send the logo. You send your the catchphrase if you have a catchphrase or whatever it is that you are trying to protect. You send it. Put under the rights. They have different levels. Is it levels? They're like I'm trying to remember the word. It's can't for the life of me remember the word. But it is everybody has like it's this sector. So like that's what it is. Oh, this falls under food production or manufacturing, and then yes, it's for water, whatever, you put that up there, you send it, they will send you an acknowledgement letter. So that for trademark, it has to go. There'll be a brochure that goes out with all the logos saying, look through this brochure, look through this document. If anybody is trying to register something that looks like yours, come and raise an inquiry, raise a query right now. So if you have a trademark that you use and it is very, very it's so connected to your brand, you really need to pay attention to the trademark registry so that you're able to, once they release one of these brochures, please let me go and look in case my mark is there somewhere. So that's for that. Patents, just basically almost the same thing when you go through the rest.
This just tells me that we need more education about these things, those processes, on what the law and what the law makes provision for, and a lot of things really regards law and things that we consider intangible, things that we think is just normal and it can pass. We need more education on this, and that's why I think we should have you on another day. Yeah, I'll be glad to have you educate us, dear lawyer and HR manager, on this thing, because we need again to have more information. If you do not have the information to work with, you do not even know where to go, what you can trademark, what you can profit with. So yeah,
I think this was just like giving a broad sense of it.
Overview.
If maybe next time would have to start picking it like one after the other, because there's the part about photography. I mentioned like photographers don't even know the rights they have.
Well, that is a real talk for another day because
Yes.
anybody can take any picture of you.
And you think, oh, no.
Yeah.
Let go.
True. Okay, this is the part where we need to get out of the studio because we're way over time. But thank you so
Yeah.
much, Rita, for being my guest this morning. And if you want to check her out on social media and ask her for more information, also maybe seek for her consultation, you can go to Instagram and search for Ms. Ritzy. Okay.
MZRITZY.
All right. All right.
Just
That,
type your name. Rita
Anwara. That's who you're looking for. Now, the Anwara has H.
H at the end.
ANWARAH. Thank you very much. My name is Oluwaseun, and I will save this video for you on YouTube. Please share it with your friends, especially the ones who are making something daily you feel you should make money with these ideas. Save them from themselves and share this video with them.
Point one. Love music, love.
Are we done?
Oh,
I thought we were gonna
Are
ask
you
very
entering?
deep
Look,
questions.
there's no easier way to
It's
start.
not
Like deep questions.
Like what?
Ask me deep
To put,
questions.
I know
I
I
don't
can do
understand.
questions.